Hi everyone, so this will be a video where I talk about grammar textbooks for Japanese learners. These are all for N5 level, which is the most basic level of Japanese learning. For you to actually use these books, you should have already a foundation of Japanese. I will be explaining how each of these three books work and how they are organized so you can better choose which one suits your studying style better. I hope you like it. So the first book I will be talking about will be Try book. This book is very famous, a lot of people have it, and it's for a good reason. It's mainly a really compact book that covers a lot of grammar points. It takes you slowly because the way that it's organized, it's very easy for you to study for yourself or with a teacher, it doesn't really matter. It puts together grammar points that are very similar so you can better memorize them. For example, mae ni, atode and nagara, which are all a bit similar. I feel like these three sections being all together, it's easier for you to study instead of having them mixed between different chapters. So for example, here on chapter 2, you start off by having a small reading section. This reading section also has an audio that you can listen to, which is really handy. And you're studying a new language, you want to hear how the language sounds. You don't have to use the CD. As you can see, I didn't use mine. It's still sealed. I actually use the QR code that comes inside. I feel like it's way easier for me to listen to. I can just put on my headphones and just use my phone to listen to the audios. After the reading section, you have a grammar point. And each grammar point comes with mainly 4 example sentences, which are really nice for you to actually see how the grammar is implemented into real sentences that people use when speaking. Afterwards, you do have some exercises to practice the grammar that you just studied. It really helps you not get a lot of information at once, gives each explanations very slowly, which is really handy. After an X amount of chapters, you come across some review questions. On the review questions, you do have some exercises with audio, so you can hear the grammar instead of just reading it. A really nice way of actually compiling a lot of different skills into one. Okay, after all of these chapters, you do have chapter 9 with useful things to remember. For example, particles, vocabulary, conjunctions as well. Yeah. At the end of this book, you do have a mock exam that will test your skills for the JLPT. All the sections, vocabulary and kanji, and reading and grammar and listening. At the end of the book, you have a sentence pattern index. It's a good way for you to look at each grammar section by chapter and by page. So at the end of the day, I feel like this book is really nice. Even though it's not really JLPT focused, for example, on the JLPT exam, you have some grammar exercises that are a bit harder. For example, you have one where you have stars in it, which I feel like it's a bit difficult for you to get if you don't really see how the sentence is structured. And this book doesn't really offer a lot of those star exercises. But either way, I feel like it's a really nice option for you to have and review your grammar points. Okay, now for the Speedomaster one, it starts off by having also a small reading text and giving you some grammar points. Instead of dividing the grammar points by doing some exercises in between, the Speedomaster combines all the grammar points into one, and then it gives you a final exercise, which might be easier for some. So it is a bit different from the Try series, where it gives you a grammar point, then exercise, grammar point, exercise. The Speedomaster just gives all the grammar points and then some exercises. As for the review questions, it has 2 sheets of exercises that are very similar to the JLPT exam. And you actually start practicing the star exercises that I already told about, which are one of the hardest ones for me. But I feel like a lot of people also struggle with this kind of exercises. The way that the Speedomaster organizes the index is quite different from the one that's the Try series. It doesn't really put together a lot of similar grammar points, but it actually works fine as well for someone who already has some foundation on Japanese. The Speedomaster does not offer an extra section like the Try did. However, it does offer at the end of the book 2 mock exams that are only focused on the grammar sections. If you really want to study grammar, the Speedomaster does offer a lot more exercises that are similar to the JLPT exam for you to actually start practicing by not doing the whole mock-up exam, you just doing the grammar section, which I feel it's easier for you instead of doing the whole thing at once. Okay, so I feel like in the end of the day, the Speedomaster could be a really nice addition for you if you really want to practice some exercises that are a bit more difficult and a lot more similar to the JLPT exam. The third and last book, the YOMU N5. This book has a lot of strengths, and that's why it's one of my favorite resources. When I studied by myself and when I studied with my teacher, I felt like the Japanese particles were so difficult for me to get. So having this book really helped me. I feel like the way that it explains each particle, it's really easy and it gives a lot of example sentences. This book also has vocabulary and kanji review, which might be nice. Even though this video is more focused on grammar, I thought that the kanji and vocabulary that this book had were really nice as well. The way that it explains each grammar point, it's really nice. It doesn't really have some exercises to go in between, but you have a lot of exercises, like review exercises between each chapters. This book also offers a lot, and I mean a lot, of star exercises, which you already know. My favorite type of exercise for me to practice was the star exercise. So I really enjoyed how this book offered so many good options of star exercises. This book is a bit more complex than the other two because there are a lot of grammar points going at once and you don't have a lot of exercises in between. The exercises are quite difficult compared to the other two books, but I feel like it's a really good way of practicing for the exam. So one of the things that I really enjoyed in this book was how the book was so small compared to the other two books. For example, this one is A4 size and this is A5 size, which is a lot easier for you to carry around when you want to go somewhere. It was much easier for me to bring this book with me when I wanted to go outside instead of bringing these two huge books. And I brought it everywhere with me, basically. I went to the beach with it, I went to the coffee shop with it, I went to parks. So maybe that's why I have so many good memories with this book. I feel like studying in different locations actually made my studying a lot more fun. So that's why I really have a special place in my heart for this book, and I really do recommend it. I feel like either of these 3 books are really nice for you to have. It really depends on what you want. Do you prefer something that covers a lot more than just grammar and has actual audio and reading sections on it? Or do you prefer to focus more on review and mock exams that are more similar to the JLPT exam? Or are you really struggling with JLPT particles, review a lot of grammar sections all at once and having hard exercises at the end? And also having something that it's quite easier for you to carry around, then you can go with this book. Thank you so much for watching. I'm planning on doing a lot more videos about my Japanese learning journey and reviewing a lot more Japanese textbooks and workbooks. So if this is something that you like, please keep on watching and please do subscribe. Thank you. Bye.